She had no place to go. But the human made her house his own. The wind howled through the empty streets of the small, forgotten town, carrying with it the scent of dust and desolation. Beneath the dim light of a flickering street lamp, a figure moved silently, her footsteps echoing in the silent night. She was cloaked in shadows, her eyes flickering with a mixture of fear and longing. Sera had no place to go. The world had turned its back on her, casting her aside like some forgotten relic of the past. She had lost everything, the people she loved, the life she had known. Now she wandered aimlessly, looking for a place to hide from the ghosts that pursued her. Her heart ached with the weight of loneliness, but she didn't dare let it consume her. Not yet. As she passed by the old church on the edge of town, the sound of a door creaking open caught her attention. She froze, her heart racing. The door was ajar, a small sliver of light spilling out onto the cobblestone street. She hesitated for a moment before stepping closer, her instincts telling her to take refuge in the building. The door opened further, and there, standing in the threshold, was a man. He was tall and broad-shouldered, with a rugged face and kind, soft eyes that seemed to look right through her. His presence was a stark contrast to the darkness that surrounded them. There was something about him, something that made her feel safe, even in her desperation. "You look lost," the man said gently, his voice low but filled with warmth. Sera didn't answer right away. She had been lost for so long, she had forgotten what it felt like to be seen, to be cared for. But in that moment, she felt a strange pull toward him, a magnetic force she couldn't explain. I don't know where to go," she whispered, her voice trembling. The man stepped aside, motioning for her to come in. "Then you're welcome here." She didn't need to be told twice. The warmth from inside the house enveloped her like a blanket, easing the chill that had settled deep within her bones. She stepped over the threshold, feeling the weight of the world lift off her shoulders just slightly. Inside, the house was modest but cozy. There were bookshelves lining the walls, a fireplace crackling softly in the corner, and the faint smell of something delicious cooking in the kitchen. It was everything she had lost, the comfort, the security, the feeling of home. The man led her to a chair by the fire, offering her a cup of tea. She accepted, her hands trembling as she held the warm mug to her lips. "I'm Jonah," he said, settling into the chair across from her. "I know this town can feel empty, but there's still good here. People don't give up on each other. At least I don't." Sera nodded, not trusting herself to speak. She hadn't known kindness like this in so long. Her heart ached, but she didn't dare let the tears fall. She wasn't sure why, but she felt like she might lose this moment if she let her guard down. Jonah smiled, his eyes crinkling at the corners. "What's your name?" "Sera," she said softly, her voice barely a whisper. "I had a life once. I don't know where it went." Jonah studied her for a moment, his expression thoughtful. "You don't have to explain. We all have our stories, some of them harder to tell than others." For the first time in a long while, Sera felt the smallest flicker of hope. Maybe, just maybe, she could start again. Maybe this man could help her find her way. Over the next few days, Jonah gave Sera a place to stay, offering her shelter and comfort. He didn't ask questions about her past, and she didn't feel the need to offer any answers. Slowly, she found herself falling into a routine, helping Jonah around the house, cooking meals, and enjoying the quiet company. The ache in her heart began to dull, replaced by something unfamiliar, a sense of belonging. But as the days passed, Sera couldn't help but notice the look in Jonah's eyes, something deeper than just kindness. It was a look that made her heart race, made her stomach flutter. She had never allowed herself to feel such things. Not after everything she had been through. But Jonah's quiet strength and gentle heart began to chip away at the walls she had built around herself. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the orange glow of the setting sun painted the sky, Jonah approached her in the garden. He stood there for a moment, watching her as she tended to the flowers. "You've made this place beautiful," he said softly. Sera smiled, her heart swelling. "It's not much, but it's all I can do." Jonah took a step closer, his voice barely above a whisper. "You've done more than you know." Without thinking, she reached for his hand, and he didn't pull away. Instead, he closed the gap between them, his touch gentle but firm. They stood there in the fading light, the wind carrying the scent of the earth and the flowers. And in that moment, Sera realized something. This place, this house, wasn't just his anymore. It was theirs. I'm not sure if I'm ready for this," she whispered, her voice trembling. Jonah cupped her face, his thumb brushing her cheek. "You don't have to be ready. Let me make a home for you." And for the first time in years, Sera felt the weight of her loneliness begin to lift. She had no place to go before, but in Jonah's arms, she realized that she had found a home, a place to belong. And in the warmth of his embrace, she finally understood that love could be the place she had been searching for all along. As the days turned into weeks, Sera began to truly settle into her new life with Jonah. The house, once just a shelter, had transformed into a home filled with warmth and laughter. Every morning, she woke to the sound of birds singing outside the window, the sun spilling its golden light into the room. Jonah was there, always steady and unwavering, his quiet support lifting her in ways she hadn't thought possible. But the unease that had lingered in Sera's heart for so long was finally beginning to fade. She allowed herself to trust again, to believe that she deserved this peace. Jonah never asked about her past, never pushed her to reveal the pain she carried, and that was the greatest gift she could have received. One evening, as they sat by the fire, Jonah turned to her, his eyes filled with an unspoken question. "I've never asked you this before," he said, his voice soft, "but what do you want, Sera? For the future?" Sera took a deep breath, her heart racing. She had spent so long running from her past, but now, in the safety of Jonah's presence, she could finally see a future. "I want to stay here. With you. I want to make this house our home. I want to build something real." Jonah smiled, a warmth in his eyes that filled the room. He reached for her hand, his touch gentle and firm. "Then we'll build it together." And for the first time in her life, Sera felt like she truly belonged. In Jonah's arms, in their home, she found the peace she had been searching for, one built on love, trust, and the promise of a future together.